This movie will go over how to create and use lists with custom names and also how to delete lists. In the stat editor, you can see that there are 6 automatic default lists, L1 through L6. Scrolling all the way to the right stops you at L6, but if you go on top of the L6 name and then right once more, you'll see that the calculator is in alpha mode so that you can create a custom list with a new name. I'm going to call my list Apple. And when I press enter, that list is created. I can now enter in values just as I would any other list. You can also create a custom list from the home screen. Create your list using the curly braces. Type in some numbers. Close the curly braces and then store that to a list. Now the way that you get the list title is above the stat button, which is list, second list. Go over to operations, and the very last option is a tiny L that says this is a list name. You're not in alpha mode now, so you need to do second alpha, and I'll call this list pair. Enter. I know that these two lists exist because if I go to, again, second stat, which is the list menu, I can see the names L1 through L6, but also at the bottom, the two that I just created, Apple and pair. There they are. You can use these two lists just as you would any other list. Go to the stat editor. Apple is still there. I can put the pair list into a named list by recalling it from second list. Get the pair, and the values that were in the pair list will be pasted into list 6. If you want the named list to appear, use the titles until you get a blank column. Pull the list from second list. Again, choose pair. Press enter, and there it is. If you want to delete a list, you need to go up onto the title and press the delete button. If I press delete, I've now erased L4. L2, L3, and L5 are there. It's deleted from this screen. It doesn't actually get deleted from the calculator. I can press delete on the Apple list and delete on the pair list, so that now the only ones I see are 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. But when I go to look at my list, they're still there. L4 is still there, and so are the Apple and pair lists. So deleting them from the list view doesn't remove them from the calculator. In order to get the lists off the calculator, you need to use the memory button above the plus sign. So second plus, option 2, memory management delete. Go down to option 4, which is list. L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, and L6 are the lists I want there. But I no longer want Apple or pair. So when I press the delete button inside this, they both disappear. Second quit. When I look at my list of lists, second list, I see that only L1 through L6 are there. But when I press my stat editor, L4 still hasn't returned. The way that you set up your stat editor to view the original L1 through L6 is you press stat, and then choice 5 is setup editor. And as soon as you run the setup editor, L1 through L6 return. I don't think it's possible to delete L1 through L6 from your calculator. I think those are permanently there. Again, to clear out values, you go on top of the name and you press clear, enter, and that removes the numbers from that list.